Progressive rock was more than music. It was an adventure into sound. Bands fused rock, classical, and jazz, creating songs that stretched like journeys across time. Every note carried ambition, every rhythm opened new worlds. These were not just tracks, they were epic stories told through instruments. The 1970s became the golden age of prog rock, where musicians dared to dream without limits. Today, we count down the 20 songs that define the genre forever. Echoes by Pink Floyd was not just a song, but a voyage across uncharted soundscapes. Lasting over 20 minutes, it blended ambient textures, hypnotic rhythms, and soaring guitar cries that resembled the calls of seabirds across a desolate shore. It was less a piece of rock music and more a sonic ecosystem, drawing listeners beneath the surface of consciousness into a world where time seemed suspended. From Richard Wright's delicate piano to David Gilmour's space-bending guitar, each instrument contributed to a seamless tapestry that felt infinite. What makes Echoes endure is its ability to transform atmosphere into narrative. Each movement unfolds like the chapters of a great novel, evolving from tranquil beginnings to cosmic crescendos and finally dissolving back into silence. The track bridges simplicity with grandeur, showing how prog could be both subtle and monumental. Even decades later, Echoes continues to stand as a cathedral of sound, one where listeners can still lose themselves, discovering new depths with every listen. Genesis reached an almost mythical height with Supper's Ready, a 23-minute suite that defied boundaries. Structured like a surreal theater production, it shifted between tender balladry, frantic rock, and apocalyptic grandeur. Peter Gabriel became the storyteller of visions both intimate and cosmic, his voice weaving characters and emotions with haunting clarity. Each section felt like stepping into another realm, stitched together by Tony Banks's lush keyboards and Steve Hackett's piercing guitar lines. The genius of Supper's Ready lies in its ability to balance absurdity and transcendence. It felt like a spiritual play disguised as progressive rock, tackling themes of love, conflict, and even revelation through sound. From its pastoral opening to its climactic finale, it painted Prog's most theatrical portrait, leaving behind not just music but an entire dramatic experience. Genesis here proved that rock could rival opera in scope and storytelling power. Yes achieved their magnum opus with Close to the Edge, a song that mirrored the structure of a symphony. From its chaotic opening like a storm tearing across a forest to its moments of serene reflection, the track was an odyssey of sound. John Anderson's ethereal vocals floated above Steve Howe's intricate guitar lines and Rick Wakeman's cathedral-like organ, producing music that seemed to channel the divine. What makes the track timeless is its balance of intensity and serenity. Moments of near silence coexist with towering crescendos, creating a musical journey that constantly shifts between tension and release. More than a rock composition, it became a spiritual meditation, where every phrase and motif carried purpose. Close to the Edge still resonates as one of the most ambitious achievements of the progressive rock movement. King Crimson's Starless is one of the most poignant farewells in rock history. Opening with a melancholy theme carried by Robert Fripp's guitar, it immediately conveys an aching sense of loss. John Wetton's fragile, almost trembling vocals embody despair and vulnerability, while the band builds an atmosphere of quiet devastation. The piece begins as a lament, but is destined to explode into something monumental. The latter half of Starless grows with relentless intensity, driven by intricate rhythms and Fripp's icy precision. From whispers to volcanic release, the track builds tension with masterful patience, culminating in one of prog rock's most cathartic climaxes. Fripp's final solo cuts through the storm like a blade, sealing the track as both a monument to sorrow and one of the genre's most devastatingly beautiful creations. With Thick as a Brick, Jethro Tull turned satire into a masterwork. Presented as a parody of the concept album, it ironically became one of the finest examples of one. Ian Anderson's sharp wit, combined with his dexterous flute and guitar interplay, created an album-length piece that felt both playful and profound. It blurred the line between humor and brilliance, making fun of prog excess while embodying it perfectly. The piece's 40-plus minutes unfold like a living organism, filled with shifting tempos, whimsical detours, and lyrical satire disguised as poetry. Every section connects with surprising fluidity, moving seamlessly from folk-inspired passages to thundering rock sections. The result is a composition that captures prog rock at its most ambitious, reminding us that even the most complex art can be playful at its heart. Shine on You Crazy Diamond was Pink Floyd's haunting tribute to Syd Barrett, the band's lost visionary. The opening 4 guitar notes rise like specters from the silence, embodying both love and mourning. Richard Wright's shimmering keys and Gilmour's plaintive guitar create an atmosphere drenched in memory, nostalgia, and reverence. It is not merely a song, it is a eulogy in sound. Divided into 9 movements, the track combines tenderness with vast musical architecture. Each part breathes with emotional weight, carrying both grief and admiration, as if the band were immortalizing Barrett in sound. More than a tribute, it became one of the most moving pieces in rock history, a reminder of genius lost too soon and the music that eternalized him forever. Rush redefined the scale of prog with 2-1-1-2. Stretching across 20 minutes, it combined dystopian narrative with explosive musicianship. Alex Lifeson's riffs cut like steel, Geddy Lee's vocals soared to impossible heights, and Neil Peart's drumming commanded with thunderous authority. The track was less a song than a manifesto of freedom and rebellion. The brilliance of 2-1-1-2 lies in its sweeping contrasts. Acoustic serenity clashes with hard rock aggression, telling a story as vast as its soundscape. It was not only Rush's breakthrough, but also a declaration that prog could be powerful, heavy, and unflinchingly dramatic. Few songs capture ambition and defiance with such force, and its impact still echoes through modern progressive music. Yes delivered one of their most enduring masterpieces with Heart of the Sunrise. Chris Squire's bass riff struck like a seismic wave, opening a track that oscillated between storm and calm. John Anderson's celestial vocals gave the piece its spiritual lift, while Steve Howe's guitar dances balanced aggression with elegance. What made this song unique was its dynamic range. It was a dialogue between ferocity and fragility, where thunderous instrumental passages melted into serene interludes of beauty. The result was a piece that captured the full emotional spectrum of progressive rock, cementing it as one of Yes's most beloved works. Genesis reached their most symphonic height with Firth of Fifth. The opening piano prelude, composed by Tony Banks, is among the most iconic in progressive rock, shimmering like a miniature concerto before the band erupts into grandeur. Steve Hackett's soaring guitar solo became a defining moment, flowing like pure emotion poured into melody. The track embodies Genesis at their most ambitious, merging rock dynamics with classical sophistication. Lyrically and musically, it carries a sense of timelessness, as if each note speaks of landscapes both earthly and divine. The way Hackett's guitar converses with Banks's piano creates one of prog's most beautiful dialogues. Even decades later, the solo remains a touchstone for expressive guitar playing, making Firth of Fifth one of the crown jewels of Genesis's catalog. Pink Floyd's Dogs from the album Animals is one of their most biting and politically charged pieces. David Gilmour's guitar riffs stretch endlessly, reflecting both menace and melancholy, while Roger Waters' lyrics depict a world of greed, betrayal, and survival. The song is a slow-burn epic, moving through hypnotic grooves into chilling atmospheres that feel almost cinematic. What makes Dogs unforgettable is its combination of raw power and emotional depth. The interplay of voices, guitars, and shifting moods creates an uneasy portrait of human nature. Clocking in at over 17 minutes, it demonstrates Pink Floyd's mastery of long-form storytelling, using music as a mirror of corruption and despair. With Tarkus, Emerson, Lake and Palmer unleashed one of the boldest suites in progressive rock. Spanning over 20 minutes, it is a battlefield of sounds: Keith Emerson's virtuosic organ storms, Greg Lake's commanding voice, and Carl Palmer's relentless drumming. It feels like a symphony of machines and myth, merging rock with the complexity of classical music. The narrative of Tarkus is surreal and symbolic, yet the music alone tells the story: chaos, conflict, and resolution through sound. Each movement shifts like tectonic plates, blending ferocity with grace. It remains one of Prog's most daring achievements, a testament to how far the genre could stretch beyond the limits of rock. King Crimson's Epitaph is one of the most haunting tracks of the progressive canon. Opening with mellotron swells like mournful choirs, it sets a tone of apocalyptic beauty. Greg Lake's anguished vocals deliver words of despair, reflecting fears of war and human downfall. It is at once delicate and overwhelming, a dirge for a crumbling world. The strength of Epitaph lies in its atmosphere. Robert Fripp's guitar, subtle yet devastating, supports a soundscape that feels vast and inevitable. This was prog rock, not as escapism, but as confrontation with human fragility, a reminder of how music could embody both sorrow and grandeur. Camel's Lady Fantasy is the jewel of their live performances and a cornerstone of their legacy. Andrew Latimer's guitar lines sing with aching beauty, weaving through keyboards that sparkle like shifting constellations. The piece captures both intimacy and power, flowing like a dream that builds toward catharsis. What makes it endure is its emotive force. The melodies carry a bittersweet longing, making listeners feel suspended between hope and heartbreak. Camel's mastery of instrumental storytelling turned Lady Fantasy into more than a song. It became a journey into memory, emotion, and timeless beauty. Caravan's 9 Feet Underground is the definitive statement of the Canterbury scene. At nearly 23 minutes, it blends jazz, rock, and whimsical British humor into an effortless suite. Dave Sinclair's organ dominates with playful yet complex runs, while the band shifts moods like turning pages in a novel. Its charm lies in its casual brilliance. Unlike some of Prog's grandiose epics, it feels organic and alive, as if discovered in the moment. With warmth and wit, 9 Feet Underground proves that progressive rock could be both ambitious and deeply human. UK's In the Dead of Night introduced a supergroup at their most electrifying. Alan Holdsworth's liquid guitar tone blended seamlessly with Eddie Jobson's dazzling keyboards, creating a sound both technical and emotional. The track is sleek, sharp, and filled with virtuosity, yet never loses its dramatic pulse. Its brilliance is in its restraint as much as its power. Complex passages melt into soaring, unforgettable melodies, balancing precision with passion. This song remains one of Prog's late 70s masterpieces, showing that even as the genre evolved, it could still summon awe with daring musicianship. Which riff feels sharp as midnight air? Progressive rock is more than a chapter in music. It is a universe that continues to echo across generations. From Floyd's sprawling soundscapes to Genesis' theatrical journeys and King Crimson's dark brilliance, these songs remain eternal monuments. They shaped how we hear, imagine, and dream through music. The beauty of prog lies in its refusal to be confined. It reaches beyond radio singles into entire lifetimes of sound. And even as new genres rise, these masterpieces remind us of music's power to be infinite. Every riff, every lyric, every daring movement still inspires musicians and listeners today. If this journey brought you closer to the spirit of prog rock, make sure to subscribe and join us for more explorations into the soundtracks of eternity.